I'm going to go over the answers to the test review. This is not an exhaustive review for the test. However, this will get you pointed in the right direction as you use the textbook and your notes to study to prepare for the Stearns Chapters 1 and 2 test. Please keep in mind that any graph, chart, direct quote, any map that you find in Chapters 1 or 2, any image can be fair game as a test question. So be prepared to be able to, familiarize yourselves with some of those things. Question number 1 says, list a detailed description of the Paleolithic period. Be familiar with the Paleolithic people's use of stone tools. Know that they developed speech later in the Paleolithic period. They used cave paintings to artistically express the beauty they saw in nature. Make sure you're familiar that the changes during this time period were extremely slow, but also very drastic. Number 2 says, give a description of the Neolithic Revolution. The Neolithic Revolution, this is the transitional period between between the nomadic hunter and gathering lifestyle into sedentary agriculture. So agriculture began in the Fertile Triangle. Some places like the Americas developed agriculture independently. At the end of the Neolithic period, humans started working with metal, and the first metal that they used was copper. Bronze is going to replace it as the main metal used, therefore we refer to the time period as the Bronze Age. Number 3, we're talking about Catalhook. This is a Neolithic town in Turkey. Around 7000 BCE is what archaeologists believe the time period is for it. They had a regional form of government. They patterned some of the old nomadic lifestyles, even though they were one of the first towns ever. And people in Catalhook and most early civilizations gathered for reasons of cooperation, like irrigation projects. Number 4, characteristics of civilizations. Civilizations have road building, writing, government, etc. There's other things that go with it. Civilizations are primarily considered political, economic, and social organizations. And most civilizations have some form or some sort of urbanization taking place. Number 5 is about Mesopotamia. Empires in Mesopotamia wanted to conquer new lands. Mesopotamia was located between the Tigris and the Euphrates River. One of the most famous Mesopotamian rulers was Hammurabi, and he was from Babylon, and his law code gave him power from the gods, is what the claim was. The role of women declined in Mesopotamia under Hammurabi's rule. Merchants' status grew, and his law code helped unite his realm. Number 5 is talking about the Egyptian River Valley civilization. Their culture spread south into the kingdom of Kush and Aksum along the Nile River. Priests were powerful in Egypt, just like they were in Mesopotamia. The Egyptians traded with people in Mesopotamia, particularly the Phoenicians. Now we're on question number 7, which is, number 6, which I did, so I'm sorry, number 7. Describe in detail the Indian River Valley civilization. You need to be familiar with Harappa, the cultural collapse that they experienced in 1500 BCE. Make sure you're familiar with who replaced them. You need to know about the Aryans, know a little bit about the Vedic age. That would benefit you a lot. Question number 8, the Chinese River Valley civilization. Be familiar with the Mandate of Heaven and the way that they kept written records. Be familiar with the term oracle bones. You want to check that out in the textbook. Number 9, describe in detail the earliest American civilization. Be familiar with the geographic isolation, and this is going to lead to a lack of immunity to diseases, which is going to be the downfall when the Europeans arrive in the New World. They formed agriculture independently. They also did experience some form of urbanization. So again, that is not exhaustive, but that covers quite a bit of the 40 multiple choice questions that you'll have. There's also going to be 4 short answers that you're going to do, and it'll be just like the quiz that we had in class. You'll need to be able to write several sentences about each. I'm not allowed to bring any notes, of course, to help you in class. You'll be doing it on blank paper. So the first one is about transition from Paleolithic to Neolithic. Make sure you can describe what changed and some things that maybe stayed the same. Make sure that you have some familiarity with the Code of Hammurabi and the Rig Veda, and so you might be asked to compare those two documents together. Be sure that you can compare Egypt and Mesopotamia. That one shouldn't be difficult. We did that in class. And you need to have some familiarity with the Zhou dynasty. So if you go into those 9 questions a little more in depth, look at the graphs and the charts and the photographs and the maps that are included in some of the primary sources that you find in the textbook in chapters 1 and 2, and prepare yourself for these short answer questions. Hopefully you'll do a great job. Good luck.